This ordinary-looking cassette is in fact an extraordinary advance in hi-fi technology. There's a recording on here, but a recording with a difference. Because on that conventional machine, it doesn't sound a bit like music, although that noise you can hear will be familiar to anyone who has a home computer. The music has been converted into computer code before recording. It's digital, and when it's played on this machine, it's converted back into music. Definitely a lot better. This is the prototype. It's the first time it's been seen publicly outside Japan for a standard cassette recorder with a superior quality of digital recording techniques. Where music's converted into a series of electronic pulses, so the information can be recorded without the normal loss of quality of conventional cassette recordings. Now, the sort of problems you do get are variations in tape speed and the irritating background hiss during the passages of music. Look on this machine. What
You have four tape, and first of all, an original music. You've also got a 10th generation copy of the second track that's a copy.
Now switch over to that. Hear the hiss. Back again.
Because most pre-recorded cassettes are already 4 generations from the original. On this digital machine, we did exactly the same thing.
Now I'm going to switch between the tracks. Crystal clear, because you're copying electronic pulses which aren't vulnerable to interference like the recording. For almost all classical records. So why is it taking so long to develop the cassette version of this machine? Well, it is quite easy to record music with digital codes, but it's very difficult to record that code on as small as it is. We've got a model here of a conventional cassette recorder, and as the tape passes over the recording head, the music's recorded as a continuously varying signal in 2 tracks for stereo. Now, if we took just a small part of that signal and converted it to digital, the code would take up this sort of space and so the designers of the new machine solved the problem by spreading the information over the whole width of the tape instead of the length. Now, on this one, switch it on, the head records over 8 tracks, 4 for each stereo channel. The tapes also run slightly faster, and by using new metal tape with a greater concentration of magnetic particles on it, there's even more storage capacity for the digital code than on standard tape. And that's remarkable because, don't forget, we're talking about tape only 1/8 of an inch wide, which means each track can only be the width of a human hair. And there is another bonus with digital recording. As well as recording coded music, it can also record coded pictures. Now, got a picture there, which will be coming up in just a minute, because it takes a while to come up after it's been switched on. What happens is the video data is mixed in with the music code, and then it's displayed on a television, here it comes, just like CFAX. And that picture could eventually be anything, from a portrait of a composer to the actual score of a song. A pleasure we'll have to wait for, because this prototype won't be on sale for at least another 3 years.
The revolution in electronic technology has given musicians and composers a great range of new techniques, voices, and sounds. This is one of the studios at the radiophonic workshop, where we make electronic music for radio and television programs. In our day-to-day work here, we're not necessarily always pushing back the frontiers of experimental music, but nevertheless, this is a place where we can explore many exciting new sounds. This is one of our main using the synthesizer. Behind here are 12 tone generators, or if you prefer, oscillators. Let's set one of them to work. Behind this panel, an electric circuit is sending out a signal which is being fed through to the loudspeaker. This knob is simply the volume control. Up or down. Loud or soft. Now you probably know that all sounds have a waveform, which can be seen on an oscilloscope. From left to right it shows pitch. Vertically it shows volume. Or you can operate them both at the same time. This is a frequency counter. If I set this tone to 440 cycles per second, I know that I'll have middle A on the piano. And if I want to go an octave higher, I look for 880 cycles. Adjustment is quite critical at these fairly high frequencies. There it is, 880 cycles. So far we've only been using one oscillator, but in fact all 12 of these oscillators can be controlled either by hand or by one of the other oscillators. Let me show you what I mean. This oscillator is set at 5 cycles per second. I've turned it up, but you can't hear anything because 5 cycles per second is too low for the human ear. But if we take the 5 waves per second coming from that oscillator and use it to control one of the other oscillators, say this one, then we can impose on it a 5 cycles per second vibrato effect, which can be increased, decreased, speeded up, or slowed down. What I've just set up, one oscillator controlling another, is an example of voltage control, which is central to the operation of all synthesizers, and it can turn a rather dull whine into an interesting and useful musical voice. Which brings me to the patchboard. Now then, there's the basic tone. Each time I'm adding one of these pins into the patchboard, I'm adding an extra oscillator into the circuit. Each oscillator represents a different harmonic. So in this way I'm able to build up the reedy sound. So we've got the basic tone and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 harmonics. I'll take away the harmonics now so you can hear the contribution they make to the whole sound. Now all you're hearing is the basic tone. I'll put the harmonics back in again. So far we've just been listening to continuous notes. Now let's consider individual notes which we can build up into a melody later. Every note on any instrument has a definite shape which we call the envelope. And to make this shape on the synthesizer, we feed the note through an envelope shaper. Let's take this signal that we were using a moment ago and put it into this envelope shaper, controlled by this row of knobs.